How rare is your body mega compilation? Let me know how many of these you have in the comments. Only 4% of people have an outie belly button. And believe it or not, doctors can't choose if you have an innie or an outie belly button. Things like the belly button itself and the fat beneath it determine what kind of belly button you'll have. Less than 1% of people have this small little hole right on their ear. Some evolutionary biologists claim this used to be a gill on humans. 20% of people are double jointed. This is thought to be genetic and due to a variation in collagen in your connective tissues. 10% of people are left-handed, and people who are left-handed tend to live shorter lives. 3% of people have X's on both their palms. This is a very rare phenomenon that only 3% of people have, and some people regard it as a sign of a strong character. 14% of people do not have this muscle you see called the palmaris longus. This was developed when our ancestors were big tree climbers, and if you want to see if you still have it, pull back your palm on a flat surface, touch your pinky and thumb together and slightly lift them, and you should see that ligament pop out. 20% of people have a gap between their two front teeth. What normally causes this is a discrepancy between the jaw size and the teeth. Now, a lot of celebrities also have this and don't get it corrected because they think it makes them unique. Only 26% of people have a narrator inside their head. So you know that little voice in your head when you're talking, it talks out loud to you? Well, not everyone has that. Some people picture it more visually and some people don't have that narration at all. So for example, some people might say, okay, I need to buy milk when I go to the store, but some people might visualize themselves actually buying the milk. About 1% of people suffer from excessive sweating. Also known as hyperhidrosis, this is when you suffer from excessive sweating, usually in the armpits, hands, or feet. About 10% of people have something called eczema. This is a condition that can make your skin red and itchy, and it's most common at childhood, but it can happen at any age. As of now, there's no cure, but there are ways to reduce the itching and redness. About 5% of people are born with their tongue tied. This is where your tongue is literally tied to the bottom of your mouth, and this can sometimes impact speech and eating, and it's 3 times more common in males than females. Only 2% of people have naturally green eyes, and the highest concentration of green eyes come from Ireland, Scotland, and Northern Europe. About 50% of people can unfocus their eyes on command. This is done by relaxing the ciliary muscles in your eyes, which causes them to lose their focusing power. And normally you don't have to think about if you're focusing or unfocusing, your body and your eyes do it automatically. Only 10% of people have something called Darwins Tubercle, and it's this little bump on the outside of your ear, and it's believed that people who have this are better at sensing voice tonality. 16% of people can make a roaring noise in their head using their jaw. They're able to do this because they can control a small muscle in their jaw that normally deafens chewing, but when it's flexed, it makes that roaring noise in your head. Only about 35% of people can gleek, and only 1% can do it on command. And gleeking is just when you're squirting saliva from underneath your tongue. Only 10% of people have something called Morton's toe, and this is where your big toe is shorter than the toe next to it, and believe it or not, the Statue of Liberty actually has a Morton's toe. Only 30% of people can flare their nostrils on command, and believe it or not, everyone can flare their nostrils, and we do it all the time subconsciously, but that muscle is rarely used and is weak, so it's hard to do for some people. Only about 11% of people have naturally curly hair, with 45% of people having naturally straight and the rest being naturally wavy. Only about 5% of people have these back dimples, and these are more common in females than they are in males. 12% of people dream in black and white. Dreaming in black and white is a lot more common for people who are 55 and older. And one study found that in 1940, before color television, 75% of people dreamt in black and white.